Hello, Collective. Welcome into another reading. Thank you all so much for likes, comments, share, subscribes. If you would like to donate to help with that living situation that I'm in, please do so by going to the description and going to the Cash App, the PayPal, the Chime, or the Venmo, and donating there. We are going to jump into this collective reading. So the first card we have here is the Page of Cups. And the Page of Cups is a cusp between Libra and Aquarius. And the Page of Cups talks about listening to the feeling, the material and the feeling, being able to not listen to it, but to see what it is. The fish lives in water. The fish is in the cups. This Page of Cups can be summarized as just speaking fish in that sense, where you're learning how to, listen to what is within your feeling rather than falling for the illusion of what the physical is giving you in that sense. The physical world, the reality we live in, will give you a response that goes against. It's the coincidence, or the coincide, the two inside, the opposite inside. So when you're in that mess, when you're dealing with things and something pops up, it goes against what you're doing. It's not saying that you're doing something wrong, it's just the con to it. The forces will bring the exact opposite. But what the Page of Cups reverse is saying that you're not listening to what the things on the physical are bringing you. You could be getting signs of like a new start or a new thing happening, but in order for that new thing to happen, you need to be like on the move. You need to be gaining something, losing something in that sense to allow that to move forward. And it's really not that you lose anything. You really just gain a new perspective or a new path, a new way. There's not really a loss that you gain unless you deem it to be, and that's due to like your attraction, your attachment to it. But with the Page of Cups, there's a lot of wisdom. There's a lot of nutrients. There's a lot of things that the waters or your feelings are showing you right now that need to be looked at in a different light, instead of seeing those feelings and then jumping straight to the mind to generate like an outcome, or you jump straight to the physical. Oh, what I need to do on the physical to cause this to happen. You're skipping that step of the thoughts. So really take your time to think about the things that are coming to you and disrupting your feelings in that sense. Not that it's anything that you're doing anything wrong or anyone else is doing anything wrong, but there is a misunderstanding or a misunderstanding of what's going on spiritually rather than what's happening on the physical or the mental. And the page, even being a child, it talks about the first steps, the whimsicalness, and this could have a lot to do with like an inner child betrayal or something that puts you into a vulnerable state, which is why you're not gaining much wisdom from it. Your body, your nervous system is, on the fritz, it's on the spurts. It's received something that it's not sure how to digest, but it is doing its best to do so. It's doing its best by witnessing it, and you trying to control it will only cause that nervous system to outbreak more, to, be on more fritz. So it's very important to, see that and make sure that you're not, falling down that exact path. The next card we have is Temperance reverse, and this is why things are out of balance. Whatever you have been pouring into your cup has not been pure. It hasn't been from like the divine. Temperance is Sagittarius energy. It talks a lot about what you've built up with your matured fire, and right now your matured fire seems to be doing a lot more damage than than anything. I mean, not maturity. Excuse me. It's the fire that would be moving forward, isn't working right. So there's an idea. There's something that you've grasped. The end goal. It's not that it's not happening, but the pathway there was not the one that you expected, or the pathway that was supposed to take you there, you didn't quite take. This could lead to you, being on a path of fate and needing to take a detour, or just a need to really balance out your feelings. See what's in that cup so that you can be more aligned and walk that path still. So just watching out, like seeing where the imbalance is, seeing where the lack of stability is coming from. How are things made up at this time? What's the temperament looking at? Like, have they been built shakily? Have they been built fully? And realize what is yours and what is not yours at the same time. Don't take on other people's mentality, feelings, whatever, their outtake. That's not for you to have. That's just how they are seeing it due to their experiences in their life. It's not your fault. You're not someone that's, hiding anything. And this is, this could be towards someone, this could be towards yourself, however, but it's more of just, you needing to see that where that dissonance is. There's always going to be a dissonance. And it's not one to keep you separated, like, from other people, but it's to show you the different stages of twin individualism, which is something I'm going to be talking in about here soon. But twin individualism, how their operations are, how both of their nurturing and their masculine energies work. Are they being controlled by a system, or are they actually being a person? Have they had a rough life that has led them to meet people unlike to who you are, or have they just disregarded that part completely, if that's going towards you still struggling with a specific individual or relating to not getting hired or XYZ, those things, right? We had the Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands is saying that you shouldn't have a headache at this time. You're not but anyway, with the Nine of Wands, anyway, let me go back for a minute. It's the Sagittarius in Moon. It has a lot to do with your subconscious mind and how you're moving forward, or how this flame is, doing things with, moving through you. With the Nine of Wands reverse, it tells this interesting story of not having a headache. Like, it no longer bothers your mentality as much as it used to. It might not even bother your nervous system as much as it used to, but you have let go of the past, ideas that weren't working. And that could just be the whole reason why this transformation is even happening, because you let go of an aspect of you, a part of you that was operating on a system that was beneficial to the area that you were in, but not beneficial to you. And since you stopped playing with that system, it like red flags you and goes, oh, did you forget about this? Do you still have these things, yada, yada, yada? And it's not, its job is to get you back into ping the rational mind and to let that part of you go around and rule around in XYZ. But right now, it's more of like you've let go of those ideas. You're no longer holding on to that headache. And that's why things might feel unbalanced, is it's no longer this internalized imbalance where it becomes balanced by your input / output. It's now being shown to you externally, fully, and showing you that, hey, we noticed that you've changed your cycle, so we're gonna have to red flag you and see what happens. You know what I mean? And that's where you're not seeing the Page of the Cups, the Temperance, both of those being in reverse. All these being in reverse is saying that there's a skewed vision to it all. There's something lacking. The cups aren't having water, but the wands that were up and guarding and surrounding you and causing that anxiety are gone now. And I feel like it's just the pattern of being stuck in like, oh, I need to do this when I'm stressed out to receive a reward, or you've gotten so used to working with a specific feeling, with this mindset, with this specific nervous system, like generation, output, I should say, whatever, that made things feel balanced due to how familiar it is. But now that you're doing something different, that imbalance is showing, and it's not any different. The only difference is how you're going to like handle it. The only difference is the effect of the mental realm and things, And if this Nine of Wands is just saying that you got used to it, you don't need to conform to that cycle. You don't need to get used to something that punishes you, because then that tells the system, yeah, I'm worthy of less. I don't actually want more. I just want what I have now. Keep giving it to me. And it will gladly keep you stuck in a position receiving less and not being where you need it to be. So pay very close attention to that. It's not about conforming to your surroundings. It's about carving your own path and walking that. There are always going to be hurdles and things that seem as blockages, but they're really just lacks of vision, not seeing something from the right angle that you're needing to incorporate more when moving. With the High Priestess, I mean, that's exactly what I'm saying. With the High Priestess reversed, it's just all about that hidden knowledge. And with the Nine of Wands, this is the test. The test really is to detach, it seems. But with the High Priestess coming at her too, it's the masculine in your work. That's Taurus again. Like, there's just it's a lot about your work ethics, your energy output, your masculine energy. You might not have been using your masculine energy at all, or in a healthy way, that you're starting to do. And since that system was ran off of a unstable energy, its pressure no longer has that same effect. It has more of a, maybe a rebuttal effect. It has more of just that boundary, where it's being unstable, but more stable than like, this doesn't matter. And if we're gonna really talk about things, then let's talk about them. But we're not gonna jump corners and things. However, this that could be directed towards yourself, another person. This could just be situational wise, speaking to your situation, speaking around your situation, all these things that are happening. But again, with the Four of Wands coming out, the Four of Wands being Aries and Venus, this is the starting of you coming back to that feminine and being engaged with yourself again. And that's the thing. You've created a system around you where you've had a lack of nourishment, where you've had a lack of, creativity, a lack of support, and you've gotten so used of, burning yourself out and staying on that path that you didn't really realize what was all going on. And now that you're more connected with yourself, everything just might seem icky. Now that you're beginning to connect with yourself even, or just engage. It's not even connectivity, it's just engaging. It's just being aware of it. It's showing you that you have more of a choice than to just allow things to happen to you. You don't have to turn the other cheek. Like, that's the sheep mentality of just letting it happen and not standing your ground, not being able to clean, your own energy, not being able to say your own or stand your own. In that sense, that's where that masculine energy comes in a healthy way, rather than being in a submissive form. But the only thing is, even though you are connected with yourself, the only thing you have to solve right now is the Ace of Swords reverse. That's just your thoughts. You don't have a crowned thought yet. That might be the source of, a lot of your stress, because it's like, oh, I know I'm supposed to like have a thought right now, or plan something or whatever, but I just don't know what to do. All those things. It's like being aware of that aspect of self completely. And being able just to move forward in it. But seeing again, like that thought that you're having is not ground. It is a distorted thought. It is a masculine energy that is not working, at least working for the best of benefit. And your connectivity to self, your engagement with self, is showing where, how these thoughts are. And you're not supposed to feed back into them, but you're supposed to observe them and see. You're engaged with yourself. You're seeing how your body works and your mind work and how you operate, the you being the two in you. And we have the Knight of Swords. But whatever's happening, you may just be a quick thinker as well, or trying to think fast. But with the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Swords being Gemini energy, when you and your twins, I should say, fully are engaged or connected, right? That's when things are going to be able to take off on a faster note. That's when you're going to be able to be guided by that masculine force very swiftly to where you need to be. But it's about being in that grounded control of seeing both sides and of knowing where you stand and knowing where your circumstance is standing and how it's moving around you, rather than how you're trying to move around it, because it's going to constantly revolve around you. You have to find a way to move with it, or to shrink its gravitational pull, which would be the electromagnetic pull that causes disruptions in your mind and your nervous system, XYZ. Regardless, we have the Wheel of Fortune upright, which is a grand thing to see. We have Jupiter with the Wheel of Fortune, and the Wheel of Fortune upright, you are on a path of destiny. So back when I was saying the path of fate, this kind of eradicates it. It might not be a path of fate. It might be seen as a path of fate due to the mental repercussions of how things are. But with the Wheel of Fortune coming out, it is saying that you are on a path of destiny. You just might not be aware of how it's going to come about or spring up. But even then, after that, like when you might even need to connect, because I'm getting drawn back to the Four of Wands. You might even need to begin to engage with yourself to see these bad thoughts, so that you can move forward on a destined path. There's not a time frame for your fate or your destiny to hit. It just will hit when it hits, and you need to be aware of your body and how it's moving. If there's a lot of fear and anxiety, you may be on a path to fate, because you're not supposed to harbor those energies and to move off of them. Those aren't supposed to be your fuel in that state. You're supposed to see it in its polar opposite and then choose which one that you're desiring to go with. Are you going to go with the anxiety, or are you going to go with the amount of energy that's being handed to you by the divine to do what you need to do? And that just comes from a mentality, the Ace of Swords reversed. So again, like figuring out where you are not just defining things, but experiencing them. Because you can change the words that you say, but your experience will not change unless you desire and choose to experience it differently. But with the Knight of Wands coming out after the Wheel of Fortune, Knight of Wands being Sagittarius, there's a lot of Sagittarius. You have a matured flame. There is a matured flame with you, but you're not using it correctly because of these thoughts, this mentality, this doom and gloom mentality. And it really is, no matter how much you say you're chipper, once you step into that realm of anxiety and stress, it becomes that doom and gloom energy. It becomes that new choice. But you have to be aware of like how you're using your fully matured flame. Like you already have everything set in stone, or at least have everything aligned. It's just a fear or something stopping you from doing so. And what I would suggest is, instead of taking the red flags, the red herrings of the world around you, use that as a motivator. Not from stress, but to show you, hey, if this was going to work, now would be a perfect time for it to work, and there's nothing that's going to stop it other than me. And then we have the King of Swords after the Knight of Wands, which the King of Wands, the King of Wands after the Knight of Wands, and the King of Wands is, oh my gosh, it's, I don't know why I can't think it's Leo, sorry. And I should again this saying that you have a matured flame. Your flame is ready to move forward. I kept saying matured when it comes to the Knight. It's the King that's matured. The Knight's telling you that you can move forward. But for you to be able to move forward, you should have a matured flame, right? The King of Wands is here to signify you do have a matured flame. Whatever that idea is, it's worth delving into. Why have you not done it yet, though? You know, you're engaged with yourself. You know that things are going to be working and fine. So allow yourself to go through with what you're desiring. Allow yourself to go through and experience what you wish to experience, and what you don't want to experience. You don't have to embody or agree with it. You can just simply observe it and see it. It's like when you see people, you're not going to walk up to someone like, I don't like the way you're walking. You're just going to stop watching that person walk. You know what I mean? Like, there's not that sense of control is what needs to be seen. And again, the Six of Swords, there's something in the feelings, a lack of belief, a lack of support, something that's keeping you from moving forward through those rough waters, or the shakiness of, I need someone here to do it with me, even though you really desire to do it by yourself. Six of Swords, though. Six of Swords is Aquarius and Mercury. And again, you need to look out to the calm waters. You're leaving the rough waters behind. The rough waters have already hit you. That's why you're all shook up. You're looking towards the calmer waters now. Your feminine is covered in a golden cloak, hidden, protected. Your inner child, or what the feminine will have at the offspring of what you're nurturing, the reward of what you're nurturing is there with the mother. You just need to see where these rocky waters are coming from, and be able to move to more grounded feelings. Ground your feelings. When people talk about grounding, they're always focusing on like your mentality and yada yada yada, or like even some people now are talking about your nervous system, but you need to ground your feelings. Don't like, I gotta go focus on my root chakra to ground. No, you don't. You can ground all your chakras. Grounding is something that you do with electrical current so that you don't get fucking shocked, and that's because of the voltage exceeding its limit. That's what you need to do for yourself, is to ground yourself. What chakras get overactive, what chakras get blocked and get drained from your other chakras being active. You can tell this stuff if you just sit down and feel your body, and I could tell you if you ask me honestly. It's really not that difficult. It's more of just getting in tune with your feelings and knowing what a feeling is, and knowing what a thought is, and then knowing what a feeling that's produced by thought and a feeling that's produced by the divine is. And that comes from experience, and it comes from feeling, and you can't really do that with having someone show you things. You know what I mean? It's something that you have to experience on your own. And I'll say it this way too, when you are watching these Reiki videos, though you might feel energy, it's still partially mental too. Because you're seeing it. If you had your eyes completely closed, no audio at all, right, and someone were to do it, would you still be able to pick up on it? If cool, awesome. If not, really, then let that click with you and see how the addition of audio, the addition of video, the addition of your senses being involved will then create that, and your senses are all down to touch, and you feel that touch through the nervous system going on. Whatever the case is, we have Leo reversed with strength reversed, and this is just saying that the animal, the rational mind inside of you is just more loud, a lot louder than what you should be, or your heart should be at. Your feminine is being abused by the masculine, or the energy that you are receiving isn't being used in a beneficial way, and more of just used to get anger out or things of that nature. It's not being productive in that sense. It's not being used to help see further. But we have the King of Pentacles, and this is just saying that you shouldn't really worry. You have stability. It's like the cycle has to happen not as like a punishment, but to, I don't even think it's to show you who you are either. It's just one of those things that, happen, and it's because of the mind. It's not to prove something more to you. It's just showing you, hey, this is your mentality about things. And it's not that you need to change it. Some people don't need to. Some people just need to be aware of it. But it's for you to choose and pick like how you want to move forward. Regardless, with the Six of Wands upright, you are victorious. Six of Wands, Leo, and Jupiter. There's a lot of luck coming in. When you are engaged with yourself and not allowing this fear to stop you, you won't be stopped. It's the unstoppable force by the unmovable objects. You will just phase through those things that seem impossible to move through once you fully embody and know that you're not going to be moved in that sort of sense. You're not going to be pushed away from what you desire. You're going to be able to walk forward and do what you need to do. At the bottom of the decks, though, we have the Three of Cups. Three of Cups is Cancer and Mercury. And this is just saying and really making you aware of the distractions. What are you buying into? Feelings, mentality of yourself, others, things around you. What are the things that are distracting you from your main goal? And how is that relating to your feelings? Is it something that you don't want to feel that's causing you to distract? Or just be aware of distractions to up your feelings and to make it harder for you to stay in that grounded state. And we have the Eight of Swords upright as well. And the Eight of Swords is Gemini and Jupiter. And this is just saying that you're not stuck. You might feel like this cycle is something that is unescapable or unable to be broken, and that's not true. The Eight of Swords is here showing you on the card, if you look up the correct Eight of Swords using the Rider-Waite deck by Pamela Coleman Smith, if you look at the Eight of Swords, they're not surrounding her. And those ties on her arms are not very tight. It's the only thing that's on her that's keeping her from moving forward is that sight. You can't see, so now you're having a hard time walking. But look what's underneath her feet. A trail of water. Follow the water home. Back to Mother. Back to the deep blue. Back to the Page of Cups. You're not trapped. Your thoughts are around you, but they're not surrounding you. There's a path to walk forward, but you have to leave these thoughts behind. The more you walk, the less you'll be bound, and then you'll be able to take off the blind over your eyes or the veil over your third eye and see what you where you were going and what was going on and where you're at. Regardless, there's not a need to be in fear. There's not a need to think that you're gonna, explode and die and everything's gonna be awful and nothing's gonna change. That's the mentality of how you are not wanting things, but desiring to, feel it, or however, desiring to express it, whichever way you want to say. But there should be no fear, no second thoughts of you not being able to have a victorious outcome, because it's about that boundary between the energy that you pick up from others versus what's going on with you. It doesn't matter if someone doesn't get what you do or overstand what you're explaining to them. They're not meant to. Let them just go on and do whatever the fuck they have to do. Especially when you're not, an NPC or one of these clones out here or lab babies or people who don't have that enlightened soul, or even just an open mind, you know what I mean? Those that wish to judge and brick wall and base things off of past experiences rather than being in the present and seeing everyone as their own vessel and not grouping them up. You're not supposed to be seen by those people. So don't let those individuals bother you. Don't allow them to, take away from what you've already gathered of who you are. Your character is not defined by other people. That's their character defined by you and their experiences. You know who you are at the end of the day. And this has nothing to do about labels of who you are or names. It has to do about your output. You know who you are. And it's a lot deeper than just that physical labels and shit. No one cares about that. Get your mind out of the gutter. Get deeper. Get real with yourself and see it, you know. That's something that some people can do and some people can't. But regardless, that is the reading. Just know that moving forward, everything will be fine. And everything will be victorious. Everything will end out the way that you need it to. But right now, you're just leaving those shaky waters. And it could just be, again, like a past cycle that you've broke through and, you know, had to struggle with for a while. Regardless, that has been the reading. Thank you all so much for your likes, comments, shares, subscribes, donations, whether energetic or financial. If you are wanting to help me out financially with the living situation, keeping afloat and doing what I do, of, you know, actually helping people reach the truth of things and heal themselves, please be sure to donate to the Cash App, the Venmo, the Chime, or the PayPal in the description. If you're interested in any services that I have, feel free to go to the description as well. Go to the website or email me for the services and I'll get you there. Regardless, though, I love each and every one of you to the moon and back tenfold and forever, and I will see you all later.